There is one highway in the US that when you drive on it leisurely and not in a hurry, you will experience some of the most wonderful sceneries that represent how beautiful California is, complemented by a mild Mediterranean weather that makes driving comfortably enjoyable any time of the year. It is the Pacific Coast Highway. To some, they call it State Route 1 or the Highway 1. It runs along much of the Pacific coast of the United States in California, hugging what is dubbed as the most beautiful coastlines in the world. It is the longest state route in California, over 656 miles, and the second longest in the US after the Montana Highway 200. From Los Angeles to San Francisco, one can negotiate it from 10 to 12 hours, but when you do that, you might as well use the Interstate 5, for you are in a hurry to reach your destination. Otherwise, if you have all the time in the world to enjoy life as it pleases you, driving along the Pacific Coast Highway would be a good idea to explore. This is the first time I presented several places in one blog, precisely because the subject is the long stretch of the Pacific Coast Highway that I have to tap some interesting places along the way. I hope you like them, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now, and please don't forget to share this to others so they may see it too. Thank you. Join me as I share with you some of the places I covered with my photographs and videos of a highway of beauty. Two ways to approach the Pacific Coast Highway: from Los Angeles to San Francisco or San Francisco to Los Angeles. Having landed in LA from Alaska, I'm taking the LA-San Francisco trip. By the way, I can only do so much of the places along the Pacific Coast that my time would allow me. From LA, my first point of interest is Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is a thriving city, just an hour drive or a little more from LA. It is marketed as the American Riviera, as there's a lot of Spanish architecture, mansions, and adobe homes. Century-old and classy restaurants, bars, and coffee shops are almost everywhere. What makes Santa Barbara an interesting place and fun to be with is the sea and the sandy beach that offers sea kayaking, surfing, and swimming, among others. There's lots of people, I guess mostly students, because of the UC Santa Barbara, that ranks number 5 among all public universities in the United States. It also attracts lots of retirees due to its warm climate, dry in summer, hot and wet in winter. And yet, Santa Barbara is one of the most expensive cities in the Central California. Not far from the beach, one should drop by at the 200-plus-year-old Santa Barbara Mission to experience what is dubbed as the Queen of the Mission. It is located in a 15 acres of land overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It has 2 bell towers, well-maintained gardens, and resting comfortably against the backdrop of the San Ynez Mountains. Houses around the mission are that of Spanish colonial revival style, which are common in Santa Barbara. An hour and a half drive from Santa Barbara, you'll come next to Pismo Beach, a seaside city that has expansive view of the Pacific Ocean. It has a 1,370-foot long pier that stretches into the Pacific. Aside from being famous for its butterfly grove, dinosaur caves, and the strong waves for surfing. At Pismo Beach, the fun is endless. It could start early in the morning as the sun rises and ends even after the sun has set. short detour into a Danish community is a place popularly known as Solvang. It is a replica of Denmark, where one can experience all about Danish culture, food, and Euro architecture. Solvang is Denmark in miniature, and so with its miniature replica of the mermaid. Then, a 2-hour drive from Solvang, you'll find your way into the Hearst Castle. Guided tour is a must for one to explore the Hearst Castle. Buses drive visitors up to the castle. Hearst Castle is a sprawling acre of ranch on top of the Santa Lucia Mountains. Owned and developed by newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, the castle sits on a sprawling 250,000 acres with buildings, 115 rooms, 38 bedrooms, more than 40 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools, all European-inspired architecture. Morro Bay is a small town on a large bay. There are lots of bird and marine animals around, and those adorable fluffy sea otters, you'll love them as they float in water, oblivious of their surroundings. A certain local named Nick Howell, a repair mechanic, had been honored with a truck bench seat artwork by the people of Morro Bay for his selfless assistance to the fishermen when he was still living, with respect to survival in the sea when their engines malfunctioned. Here is what Miss Sandra said of Mr. Howell.
All the town appreciated all the things that he has done because he was a diesel mechanic. And he would take care of many of the fishermen down here with directing them what to do, show them what to do, or just mentor them or do the work on all these boats. And he took care of other people in the town. He was a very humble soul. And I wish I had known him. I never met him. But what a wonderful man for them to love him so much. That's the wood bench out of his truck with the diesel tools that he used to use. Which, I mean, what a wonderful memorial. Everybody admires it.
Morro Bay is almost synonymous with the existence of Morro Rock, a bold and rocky mountain across the anchored yachts right beside a restaurant by the sea. Mention of Morro Bay and Morro Rock comes into the picture. Let's hear what Kurt and Barry of Frankie and Lola's Front Street Cafe has to say about the rock.
So Morro Rock is known as the Gibraltar of the Pacific. It is a volcanic plug, which means millions of years ago it used to be an active volcano, and the rock is the remnants of the magma that hardened. It used to be bigger, and the Army Corps of Engineers had gone off some to build the jetty, the entrance to the harbor. And it's a lovely thing that has its own weather and its own personality, and we love to look at it every day.
Okay, so that is the main attraction of Morro Bay, right?
Well, Frankie and Lola's first.
Yeah, first.
Now let's head up to the Big Sur, where we'll experience rugged mountains hugging the fantastic coastlines as waves after waves hit and splash against the bluffs and retreat back to the sea. By the way, just a little favor, please don't forget to subscribe and share this so others will see it too. Thank you. Just 218 feet above sea level is the Bixby Bridge, the most photographed bridge on State Route 1, a 714-foot-long reinforced and concrete deck of arch bridge that gracefully connects the Big Sur onward to San Francisco. After crossing the bridge and coming from the Big Sur, we'll drive through a pathway with tall trees on both sides of the road, part of the forested areas of the 17-mile drive, a winding scenic road where we can experience the exclusivity of the Pebble Beach, home to public and private golf courses, which is also home to some wealthy people. Don't forget to see and photograph the solo cypress tree, proudly perched atop on a rock against a silhouetted mountain with the ocean in between that separates the two. It is the most photographed photogenic tree in Pebble Beach. Now let's drive through the next town, Monterey, a place known for its canneries and a number of old establishments that dates back in 1830, some even much older. Monterey is a good place to watch the once-in-a-while appearance of whales, dolphins, and sea lions in the sea. The best draw of Monterey is the big aquarium with its thousands of volumes of water, accommodating an overwhelming number of marine animals for everyone, children and adults alike, to enjoy in a 3 to 4 hours tour. At this point, it's time to walk on the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, where heart-pumping adrenaline rush of a number of wild rides for everyone to enjoy. The boardwalk is in itself a classic amusement park, where one could enjoy the thrill of the park, shops, foods, kiddie rides, and games, as well as the allure of the sea and its sandy beach that usually becomes a playground for football and volleyball. If you have time to spare, go see the mystery spot deep into the Santa Cruz woods where gravity can play tricks on you. From Santa Cruz, make a swing to San Jose and explore the mansion of Sarah Winchester, husband of gun magnate William Winchester, with its historic landmark and an architectural wonder. The mansion, which is considered beautiful and bizarre, has 160 rooms with only one working toilet, all the rest decoys, 40 tight staircases with oddly sized risers, 2,000 doors and stairs that go nowhere, 10,000 window panes overlooking other rooms. And the renovation kept going on for years, and even up to now as you hear those sounds, except only during the time when Sarah had been trapped in her room during an earthquake. At this time, we're close to the home stretch. We're now into the heart of San Francisco, a city by the bay, as popularized by Tony Bennett in his immortal song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. Let's listen to the wisdom of Oscar Soriano a local of the Bay Area, has to say about San Francisco. Your name is Oscar.
Oscar Soriano from
Okay.
Daly City.
How long have you been in San Francisco?
Well, I have lived and worked in San Francisco for 32 years.
So, if I am going to San Francisco, what do I expect to see?
Well, San Francisco is a beautiful city. It's a small city, but in one day you can actually go to a lot of attractions. The first place that I will probably bring you would be the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. And before that, we can actually go to the Golden Gate Park, which is a great attraction if you have all day to spare.
For the finale of the long journey from Los Angeles to San Francisco, be mesmerized with the sheer fantastic beauty of the Bay Bridge, as well as that famous Golden Gate Bridge, which is not actually golden at all, but rather a burnt red, which is also known as International Orange. Here in San Francisco, one should never miss a ride with a cable car, or getting lost among the giant trees and a windmill at the Wilhelmina Garden, or take time to commune with a brave bird that mingles with people on the green, or have a keepsake photograph taken in front of the so-called painted ladies row of Victorian houses, or be out with an array of modern-day buildings along the Embarcadero Boulevard, or meander inside the tranquility of the Japanese tea garden and chat with one of the horticulturists. What is the name of this garden?
This is called the Hagiwara Japanese Tea Garden.
Is this part of the Academy in Arts and Sciences?
No, it's an independent garden that was built in 1894. It's the oldest public Japanese garden in the country.
And how big it is?
3 acres.
What's the biggest draw of the garden?
Probably the Taikobashi, which is the bridge that's curved. That is the number one thing people like to do when they come here is go to that bridge.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Thank you. The whole trip took me almost a week, stopping every now and then, taking photos and videos, taking a bite or two in some classy restaurants and a not so-so, and spend the night in hotels or motels available on the road, and until I had covered as much as I could to my heart's content. If you're ready to embark on with what I did, go ahead. Try exploring the Pacific Coast Highway. Indeed, a highway of beauty. Hope you enjoyed the trip. Stay tuned on my next vlog. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you.